Let's solve some equations involving fractions, decimals, and absolute value. So this video is going to be a little bit more advanced, so if you are still not clear on how to solve basic equations, I recommend you watch another video on that first, because this video will be a little bit intermediate. Alright? So let's get started with 4x minus a fourth equals 11 and 3/4. So they say solve this equation. So we want to know what x is. If you're looking at this, it may look a little complicated because of the fractions, but it really is not. A lot of things in math look harder than they actually are. So let's just get started on this. First step, what is the inverse of minus a fourth? That would be adding, right? So let's add 1/4 to both sides of this equation. Now this cancels out, so we have 4x equals 11 and 3/4 plus a fourth, which is 12. Now we divide both sides by 4, and we get x equals 3. Okay, so pretty easy. Next one. How about x over 3 equals x over 4 minus 5. Okay, what do we do here? Well, if we look at this 3 in the denominator and this 4 in the denominator, we need an LCD, don't we? What is the least common denominator between 3 and 4? Well, that would be 12, right? So let's multiply both sides of this equation by 12. Okay, so we have 12x over 3, and 12 divided by 3 is 4. So we have 4x, okay, 12 divided by 3. And then over here, we need to distribute the 12 in. So 12 times x divided by 4, 12 divided by 4 is 3, so we have 3x minus 12 times 5, which is 60. And then when we get here, it's very easy, okay? Minus 3x from both sides, we get x equals 60. So for this problem, x over 3 equals x over 4 minus 5. For this problem, the hardest part was getting started. We had to figure out the least common denominator between 3 and 4, which is 12, and multiply that to both sides. Once we did that, from here to the solution, it was very, very easy. Okay? So let's do another problem, this time with decimals. All right. So 0.4x plus 1.9 equals 5.2 minus 0.7x. Okay, so let's solve for x. All right, so I'm going to start with this part right here. Let's add 0.7x to both sides. Okay, so plus 0.7x plus 0.7x. So this part cancels out, right? That's a 0. And here, 0.4x plus 0.7x is 1.1x. Okay, so now let me just rewrite the rest of the equation here. So 1.1x plus 1.9 equals 5.2. Now let's minus 1.9 from both sides. So this cancels out. We have 1.1x equals 5.2 minus 1.9 is 3.3. And now if we divide both sides by 1.1, we get x equals 3. All right, let's do another one. All right, 0.12x plus 3 equals 0.3x minus 6. Okay, so for this equation, to make our lives a little bit easier, let's multiply both sides by 100 to shift the decimals over, okay? So multiply both sides by 100. So we would get times 100, 1, 2, 12x plus 300 equals 1, 2, 30x minus 600. Subtract 12x from both sides, we would get 18x here. Okay, that cancels out. Add 600 to both sides. This cancels out. We get 900. And then if we divided both sides by 18, divide by 18, that would be, let's see, 18, 36, 54, 72, 95. That would be 50 for x. All right, now let's move on to absolute value equations. What if we had the absolute value of x equals 4? Remember that absolute value means the distance from 0. Okay, so on a number line, if we had 0 here, which numbers would be at a distance of 4 from 0? Well, that would be 1, 2, 3, 4, as well as 1, 2, 3, 4, negative 4. So if you saw this equation, the solution would be x equals positive and negative 4. Okay, so what if instead of just x equals, the absolute value of x equals something, what if we had this now? The absolute value of x minus 2 equals 10. What about this now? Anytime you have an absolute value equation, you need to split it up into two parts. The first part is going to be simply the inside and the answer. Okay, x minus 2 equals 10. That's the first part. The second part will be the inside equals the opposite sign of the answer. Once you've split it up into two, it's very easy. Okay, so x minus 2 equals 10, plus 2 to both sides, x equals 12. And then x minus 2 equals negative 10, plus 2 plus 2, negative 10 plus 2 is negative 8. So these would be your two answers, the two values of x that satisfy this equation right here. Okay, and you can plug it in. 12 minus 2 is 10. The absolute value of 10 is 10. That works. And then negative 8. Negative 8 minus 2 is negative 10. The absolute value of negative 10 is 10. So these are the right answers. All right, let's do two more. What if you saw the absolute value of x plus 4 equals a negative 5? If you saw this, there would be no solution. Okay? this would be a trick question because the absolute value of something must be positive. You can never have a negative absolute value. Okay, so this would be no solution. And the last one, how about 3x minus 2, the absolute value, equals 4. Okay, let's split it up into two parts. 3x minus 2 equals 4, and 3x minus 2 equals negative 4. And then I'm just going to solve. Okay, so add 2 to both sides. 3x equals 6. Divide both sides by 3. X equals 2. And then over here, add 2 to both sides. 3x equals negative 2. Divide both sides by 3. X equals a negative 2/3. Okay, so there you have a couple of example problems for equations involving fractions, decimals, and absolute values.